Yeah, we can get going. Everyone's here. Um, so thanks for joining. And I hope everyone had a great holiday. I know I did. We did nothing for, well, that's not true. But on the actual holidays, we just stayed at home and played games and stuff with our kids. But we ended up going to Chicago, and that was terrible. That was a very terrible decision. Um, the weather was warm. It was the weekend before Christmas, and it was a complete nightmare. I like there were so many people in the city. It was bonkers. So the I just had our community thing up, and now I can't find which tab it was on. Hold on. Okay. So we have two items really. We have that I think Matt put in here. The first is the site relaunch plan, which we're kind of excited about, actually. This is pretty cool. Matt, do you want to speak to it?
Yeah, give me a second. All right. So yeah, most of this is just stuff that I need to do, really. Unlike the MP1 stuff, a lot of this is just um, just organizing the outstanding work that we have with our contractor, Batovi. So some of this can get done prior to that, which is the other thing I'm going to be talking about today. But some of it can't. So the majority of what's on this plan is just for everybody to know sort of what's up and what we'll be waiting on to do the actual relaunch. Why haven't we done it already? What are the things that we still need to do before we can actually kick things over? So mostly this document is for information purposes. If you're curious about how we're doing some of the DNS stuff, I'm happy to set up some time with you because that's more on the ops side. And as always, I would love help on that. So just let me know if you have any interest in seeing how this works. But generally speaking, this is just a document that is keeping my helping me keep my sanity. One of the things that we want to do before the relaunch is have a new release of both the platform and the curriculum. And the reason for that is a lot of the changes that we're putting into the web front end will be landing in a new version of the platform because we have to create a release that include those changes in order to deploy it. And since we're doing the platform release, we might as well also do a curriculum release because there's a lot of stuff that we want to fix in the current curriculum. Probably add some lessons as well. I'll get to that in a second. But that's why the platform release and the curriculum release are happening as part of this relaunch because we haven't done either in a while, and it's probably a good idea that we do that. Anyway, the changes are great. If you haven't seen the preview that I threw up last week or last session, go ahead and look at the recording. But it's going to be really cool. I just got a demo last Friday from our contractor with the new terminal Extern.js with WebSSH2 and all that stuff working, and it's really great. It's really great. Not just the functionality of it and the speed and the performance, but also just how easy and flush it is with the rest of the page. It just looks like text, so you just copy and paste it. It doesn't look like it's a portal to the depths of hell like Guacamole does. So it looks great. What's going to happen more than likely before we actually do the platform release is we're going to be deploying the latest version of everything to the new site, but it'll be rough. We expect that there will be issues there. The objective there is to hash out any issues that we have encountered once the work from this contractor has been merged. Then effectively what we'll be doing at that point is we'll be working through the plan to actually we'll be working through the release plan for 0.5.0 and 1.0.1. So that'll be the thing that we can actually start doing now. Hopefully within the next few weeks, all of that will be finished. The Batovi work will be done. The platform release work that we planned will be done. I've just made this decision last night, so you'll see references to 0.5.0. I'm actually not proposing we do that. We're just going to do a patch release to the latest, which is 0.4.1, because we're not making a lot of platform changes. This is not a significant release. It's just making sure that everything is good with the latest changes to the web front end. So that's the main thing. So yeah, basically it would be great if maybe in the next 2 or 3 weeks, all three of those efforts converge at the same time. That's the goal. And then once we do that, we'll do a release of both the platform and the curriculum. We'll deploy them onto the new domain, and then we'll have sort of a formal set of week of testing where we can do like a formal go or no go based on what we've seen. Then the switchover is actually really easy, because what we're doing is we're deploying everything to a new site, and so as a result, once we feel comfortable with where the new deployment is, we just switch things over. So there's a few things we need to do via redirects, but that's very straightforward. Cloudflare does that very easily. So we'll just when we're ready to cut over, we'll make the cut, and it really is that simple. And then there's a few cleanup things that we want to do after the fact, but that's not too bad. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was what I alluded to at the beginning. If we're going to be incorporating new platform releases and a new curriculum release, what is that going to look like? Well, a platform release is pretty simple, because mostly it's just is there anything that we can do to improve the platform experience minimally? And it may be, to be honest, I'm waffling a little bit. It may be an 0.5.0 because of all of the changes in the web front end. So we'll see. I haven't done the release kickoff for that yet, but I'll do that today. So I don't know if all these changes. This is an old project. I set this up a long time ago, so keep in mind this will change. These issues have been in this release plan for a long time. Some of them I may punt for a future release, just because, again, we want to make sure we can get the work done in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we won't be taking on anything crazy ambitious in that period of time. But when I'm ready to kick off that release plan, I will do so, and then obviously everybody can comment and let me know what they think. The other aspect of this is the 1.0.1 release for the curriculum. This is more important because we want to make sure that all of our content shows up properly in the new web UI. I don't anticipate problems with that. The way that lessons are stood up is not changing with all of these web UI changes, but it's a good idea to at least do some heavy testing for everything that we do have. In addition, there's plenty of issues that we know we have, and some of which, like Olivier brought up, the latest napalm problem with the Stackstorm lesson. It seems like that's always, or maybe it's the napalm lesson. I can't remember if it's Stackstorm or napalm. Stackstorm. Seems like that lesson always has problems. But again, we haven't done a curriculum release in a long time, so a lot of these issues have been sort of outstanding for a long time. So we need to fix this. I will say I do not want to run the curriculum release. I feel pretty strongly this needs to be somebody else. I could do it. I'm happy to do it if we need to. But this is one of those things where I would prefer that somebody step up and be a release manager. In a lot of open source projects, that's how it's done. Actually, there's a team of folks that are comfortable with running the release, and each release rotates through a different person each time. So that's the position I'd like to get to. But we'll see. Everybody's busy. We'll see how that works out. I just want to let everybody know that's kind of what my desired outcome is for this. But basically, we need somebody to sort of shepherd through these issues, not necessarily fix everything, but at least stay on top of this plan and say, hey, so and so, Matt, you're assigned to this. What's the status of that? Things like that. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, the work that we can do now is these two plans. The new release for the platform, the new release for the curriculum. We're starting that work probably like I said now. The curriculum's more important because we've got just issues to fix. So that's why I have this here. Again, this plan has existed for a long time, but I went through and I updated it last night. And the goal will be, I think I updated the release plan too. If you go to the for the curriculum anyway, if you go to the kickoff thing there, I edited the original post, which was back in September. That's how long this has been outstanding. Um, and updated it with a new target release date, which is January 17th, 2020, which should be doable. I don't see it. I mean, everything, things happen, but that should be a doable milestone. I mean, what we're doing here mostly in this release isn't 50 new lessons. It's mostly just fixing existing lessons and then maybe like one additional piece of content as a stretch goal. So yeah, the plan for the relaunch kind of depends on us pulling that off within the next probably 2 weeks, because that puts us sort of like into like the last third of January, and then the rest of the plan, once that's done, ideally will be to about this point we can kick off new release workflows, and the only thing we'll have to do at that point is testing, making sure that everything works properly, and that should be doable within a week. So those are the three efforts that I'm trying to get to converge at the same time: the Batovi work, and then the platform release, and then the curriculum release.
Yeah. So from an actual, sort of launch and making noise standpoint, I think we need to come to ground pretty quickly on a release date so that we can plan accordingly. So a number of the things that we need to do from a noise making perspective will take, have at least a couple week lead time.
Yeah, I would say let's go ahead and just aim for early February, just to be safe. I mean, everything I'm seeing, like Batovi is trucking along, like that's going. So I have no reason to be worried, but I figured just to make sure we have time to do everything else. It's not that I don't trust them. It's just that I haven't I haven't deployed it yet, and I want to be able to deploy it.
Right.
So just giving me some buffer to make sure that all gets worked out would be good. I would say probably early February. I don't know about like the first week in February. I don't know how the dates work out.
Okay.
Probably like the first Monday. I don't know. That kind of makes sense to me.
Okay. Take a look at the calendar really quick.
The 3rd. There we go. Yeah. February 3rd is the first Monday.
February 3rd. There aren't any holidays that I'm aware of on that day. Are there any holidays in Europe for February 3rd, Olivier?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Sometimes when we speak about deadlines, we plan stuff for Halloween, for what's the in February, the lovers. My words.
14th. Yes.
Yes. What is the name?
Valentine's Day in English.
Valentine's Day. Sorry. So if not the 3rd, the 14th.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll plan for that. Okay. And it sounds like Matt would really like some help with the curriculum. Is there anyone besides Matt who's willing to take that on? I'm not liking the deep silence. This is not sounding good for Matt.
Silence.
I'm interested, but the last few weeks work has been quite busy. So I'm hoping that calms down and I'll be able to give a better answer closer to that January 17th.
Okay. I mean, I mean, I'll volunteer to do it.
Hooray! Hooray!
Okay, release manager is Derek Winkworth officially. Written in
Excellent.
stone and
All
blood.
right. I'm gonna get it. That's my next tattoo on my neck.
Can we
Release
put
manager.
that on a blockchain?
That's all I had, by the way. I mean, that's just kind of the only thing I'm working on at the moment is this is the relaunch plan. I do want to talk about something real quick, if that's okay. We I I I I I think the plan that we put together with MP1 is good. I don't think any of that work is unnecessary. But I'm leaning towards postponing that work for the time being. I think we're in a position now, especially with the relaunch, where we need to show momentum again with the curriculum. And I'm leaning towards that trumping everything else. So I'm not saying MP1 won't get done ever. I think what I am saying is that it cannot be my singular focus anymore. As things come up where I'm able to work on an aspect of it while I'm also helping to make sure the position I'm in right now is I'm thinking like, look, the curriculum is the way that people see this project growing. Those of us on the call appreciate the platform improving and the experience they're improving, which is awesome. I don't want to downplay that, but in terms of growing the community, I can't see any other area where we could improve things. And so until that has legs, it clearly doesn't. Until that has legs, I'm feeling like that needs to be my focus, not my sole focus, but it needs to be an equal citizen with everything else that I have going on. So that's what I'm probably going to be doing in the next little bit. Now, with MP1 specifically, I originally had the approach of, okay, well, this is a huge disruptive change, and so what we should probably do, and I even made a forum post about this where I declared what my opinion was. So I'll have to go back and change this. But I'm pretty much in a 180 on that. I was originally saying, this is a big disruptive change, and so what we should do is we should have a branch where all of the MP1 stuff happens, and in that way we can keep releasing the platform in its current state without breaking it. In retrospect, that's pretty stupid, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I'm not really sure why I thought that would work. I don't know about you, about if anybody's contributed to an open source project, but I absolutely love it when people, don't get around to merging my work for months after because they have some other thing going on. That always works out great for the morale of a contributor. Obviously that's not true, and I'm being facetious. So, I think I'm going to change a little bit the way I think about MP1. The database work is still ongoing, and the improvements to that tooling is still ongoing. What I feel is a better approach, and what will make the MP1 work more able to be done slowly. Because if I'm turning my attention to the curriculum, then that means the MP1 work is also, certainly going to slow. So to keep that work going and not some branch that is going to get stale because of whatever changes in attention and schedule, all that work's going to get done on master, and all of the MP1 changes are going to be done. All the MP1 changes are going to be done with the idea of this needs to get merged right away. So we're going, if, for instance, if we're going to be implementing, new database functionality, well, cool. You have to assume that as soon as we merge that PR into master, that it's going to need to go into production. So we're not going to have merged code that is somehow not usable. That's an approach that I can't believe I was willing to take earlier. But given especially the change in focus and priority, it's certainly not going to work. So, yeah, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I just want to let everybody know that I feel like that's something that needs my attention, the curriculum specifically, and as a result of that focus, but also as a result of a change in, I guess, common sense for me. I'm changing the way that we're doing MP1. It's not going to be a separate branch anymore. It's going to be, we'll go as slow as we need to keep things working properly. But we got to keep things working properly. We're not going to do a separate MP1 branch. That's just madness.
There are drums in the back.
My toddler, we gave her a play kitchen, which we assembled over the weekend, and she is throwing the pots and pans, which are real stainless steel, but smaller, which is a great parenting decision. I highly advise that you give your children stainless steel pots and pans for them to throw around.
Regarding your decision, I think it makes sense. It's quite sensible. I don't see any other issue for the moment.
Okay, that's really all I had, I promise.
Okay, so we'll open it up to open discussion. Does anyone have anything they'd like to discuss? Olivier, Stephen, Lisa?
Nope.
No.
How's the new job, Stephen? So far, so good?
Yep. So far it's great. Working on training materials, which is funny. Instead of having training, I'm writing the training, but it's great.
Which will make you an excellent contributor to the curriculum as soon as you have it written.
Yeah, actually, so I've been investing a lot of time in Kubernetes, at least the theory behind Kubernetes.
Okay.
That's what all the training is for. So I'm interested to. I started looking more into the back end of NRE Labs and how it manages Kubernetes.
Okay. Yeah, and we've had this discussion before with Jason too, but just as a refresher, if you decide to build any of the labs or anything on NRE Labs, but it's stuff that Network to Code wants to keep as proprietary, that's completely possible. You don't have to donate it to NRE Labs. But we can put pointers to it in the Network to Code collection.
Okay.
So if you had like a little intro teaser kind of lesson that you could put in the curriculum, and then we could put into the lesson, pointers to further, paid stuff or whatever. So it's a good marketing engine for Network to Code as well.
Right.
I think they just haven't had the time to sit down and figure it out. So.
That's I mentioned to Jason about continuing on working with NRE or continuing with the community on NRE labs, and he wasn't against it. He did mention he hasn't had time to look at the network to code side. Anything that I would do would be as me in my off time.
Yep.
Not as a network to code spokesperson.
Fair enough. I guess actually also on the curriculum topic, Olivia, I know you've been more interested in NRA labs from the platform perspective as well, but what are some of the areas of need you've been seeing with your work?
I haven't had much time to talk to my colleagues. We are teaching in the network field. So as my main usage is for teaching computer science precisely, I'm a bit outside the main scope of the curriculum. Still, stuff like Python or Git or whatever can be the lower levels. I have some expertise. I could have some need, but I still, it's on my agenda for 2020 to be able to dedicate time to ask them if they're interested in like Napalm or other areas of the curriculum. So maybe here we'll have more useful inputs or comments or requirements. But that's something I have postponed for the next year. So it's hard to find time these days. Every day, it's been like, we are closer from 2050 than from 1990. So I'm feeling like everything is accelerating. Anyway, and I don't have much to provide from my students who've been testing a bit, but they are struggling with installation, with VirtualBox issues, with stuff like that. So it's all over the same issues that the bootstrapping is a bit hard. So for sure, we need more people testing, more effort, trying to improve what we have, maybe documentation, maybe it will improve with the new VirtualBox that is out now, I think. So nothing spectacular on my side anyway.
Derek, anything from you?
No, nothing from me. I think we rearranged the priorities for me. We're really going to try to get those Red Hat lessons done, I think, before the end of January. So that's what I'm going to focus on.
Okay. All right.
All right. If there's nothing else, we'll call time of death at 10:34 a.m. Thanks for joining, everyone. I'll get the meeting posted shortly, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
See you.
Ciao.